Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I am Michelle Morris from Consolidated Planning Group. We have a fantastic webinar for you today with attorney Christina Lesher. We've also got Miss Rowena Lane from Hope for Three here with us today. Before we get started, just a couple of things to keep in mind. You might have heard this before. You might have been on some of our webinars before, so you know that our webinars are always recorded. After the webinar is finished, we put these recordings onto our YouTube channel. So you will be able to view this webinar on YouTube later on today. We're going to go ahead and email you the link for the webinar. We are also going to send you the slides. So you will have access to the recording and the slides. It will be emailed to whichever email address you registered for this webinar using. Um, the other thing I want to make sure that you're aware of is that we cannot see you or hear you. Since we're in webinar mode today, we can't hear you or see you. So if there are any questions, and we know you've got questions, or if you want to make comments, please put those in the chat box. That's the easiest way for us to be able to see your questions and read them as we're presenting and be able to respond to them as quickly as we can. So again, thank you all for joining us. We we do these webinars several times a week, and we always intend to be educational and helpful. Today, I would like to introduce Rowena before we get started and have her talk a little bit about Hope for Three and their mission and what they do.
Thank you, Michelle. Hi, everybody. I'm Rowena Lane. Some of you might know me as Ro. It's a lot easier to pronounce and a lot easier to remember. So I look forward to connecting with all of you. But a little bit about myself. I am a mom of three, two of which who are special needs. I also claim to be a Hope for Three auntie to all the children and families that we serve. So I take a lot of pride in making um, providing and making meaningful connections for our community. Hope for Three is a local nonprofit autism organization whose mission is to walk alongside the families and support them through their autism journey. And it's through events like this where we are absolutely blessed to be connected with Consolidated Planning Group, who has a plethora of resources that will help empower our community. And so thank you for having us. In addition to things like this, we are also providing free events and programs, as well as family assistance to those who qualify in our area. However, sit back and relax. I do appreciate everybody attending today, especially the great connection that Consolidated Planning Group has brought us Miss Christina Lesher, who is going to be of great value. So thanks again, everybody, for having us, and I look forward to learning with you.
Thank you so much. Now, we did get several questions on people who are registering, and we're going to try to address some of those in today's meeting, as well as whatever questions come through as we're talking. But if we can't get to your question, or maybe you don't feel comfortable putting your question out there in public, we are more than happy to have a free initial consultation with you at Consolidated Planning Group. Christina, do you offer the same kind of thing?
I do offer initial consultation. I do charge a fee for that because there is prep work before, during, and after my consultation. And folks can call my office and get information on fees.
Fantastic. Thank you so
And
much.
Hope for Three is more than happy to assist in that department, whether it's through our organizations or making those great connections that could also provide assistance.
Good. Thank you so much, Ro. So Consolidated Planning Group, you want to reach out to us for anything related to money, really. We do help a lot with benefits and understanding different things, but we are first and foremost a financial planning firm. We've been around for about 30 years. We're totally licensed in all of the securities and investments, life insurance, things like that. We're members of the Academy of Special Needs Planners. We are nationally certified as Social Security advisors, and I'm a chartered special needs consultant through the American College of Financial Services. About 97% of the clients that we serve have families with a loved one who has a disability. This is not just what we do once in a while, it's what we always do. Christina, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, there's a lot of an embarrassing amount of content there about me. But
No,
hi,
I love that. I love getting to
everybody.
know you.
Hi, everybody. I'm an elder law and special needs planning attorney. I've been practicing law for 22 years, and before I was a lawyer, I was a social worker. My practice started out primarily working with older adults, and then my office and my family's life took a pivot in 2010 when my nephew was born with a rare genetic disorder called Vader syndrome. And I'm like Ro, I am the overprotective aunt of my nephew James, and so we have been on this MDCP Medicaid journey since 2010. So I don't do litigation except when it comes to people who are on Medicaid that have been denied because of medical necessity or reduction in services. And as the little blurb says, when I'm not practicing law, I'm usually with my dogs or probably doing yoga or traveling. So yeah, I just got my yoga teacher certificate this year, and it's been very fun and interesting. And so that's a little bit about me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I feel like I didn't say much about me as a person.
I
I
think you
have
should,
two
Michelle.
I have two boys. They're 23 and 21. I am married to my colleague. We've been married for about 25 years. So if anybody has worked with Consolidated Planning Group and you've seen Andy, that's my man. And we have two, oh no, we have one dog. One passed away last week. So I'm still used to saying we have two big dogs. No, but we are major dog lovers here in our area. So families generally come to us to talk about special needs planning, and we help with things like protecting your family, lifetime care planning, transition planning. Of course, you know that there are major transitions that happen in your child's life. And when you have a child with any kind of intellectual or developmental disability, it really amplifies those transition periods, you know, when they turn 18, when they graduate from high school, when they move out, when the parent passes away. These are big, big deals. So we help plan for those milestones. We help with ABLE accounts and understanding special needs trusts and how that all works, and all of your benefits like SSI and Medicaid, SSDI and Medicare. And we're here to advocate for you and to educate you. So the owner of Consolidated Planning Group, Allison Skomberg, and her husband, Jeff, they have 4 kids altogether, and 2 of them have disabilities. So that's why our company focuses on this. Now, before my career in financial services, I was a teacher. So I have worked in the school districts with many children of all abilities, but including those times working with kiddos with disabilities. So I'm familiar with that arena. And we all there's 4 financial advisors in our firm. We all bring our own areas of expertise to every file because we work as a collaborative team, which is really cool structure that we've got going on. But you know, out of the entire United States, in the entire United States, there's about 263,000 financial advisors, according to the US Census Bureau. But out of those 263,000 financial advisors in the United States, fewer than 200 focus on special needs planning the way that we do. So it can be difficult to find a financial advisor who is nuanced in all of those little special needs things, like knowing about how much money you can have for your loved one and how to keep that money in the right buckets to preserve their benefits. It's less than 0.1% of all the financial advisors in the United States who focus on special needs planning. So some major key pieces of advice, because we know it keeps you awake at night, probably thinking about, who's going to take care of your loved one when you can't do it anymore. Well, first of all, the time to start planning is right now. It's never too early. It can be a little late, but it's never too early. So start planning now and thinking about what's going to happen after high school. What post high school educational options are out there? What residential options can you find for your loved one if you want them to go live someplace other than your home? What about vocational options? There's so much out there, so many resources. And if those aren't right for your child, planning their future, it really should be an intentional effort by you and them working as a team to think about the future. Now, we always say be very careful before you just assume that a sibling is going to be able or willing to step in. We work with a very large number of siblings who have been kind of thrust into the role of caregiver, but unwittingly by mom and dad when the parents pass away. And we can see from our side the frustration that happens when, there's not really much planning done, there's not much money left, and all of a sudden you're told, okay, well, now you're going to be the caregiver for your brother or sister. And there's also some frustration and concern from the point of the individual with the disability, because here's their sister, for example. They've been partners in crime all these years, they've been best friends, and now all of a sudden sister is moving into a more of an authority figure role. And they don't like that, because this is supposed to be my bestie, not you're not my mom. You can imagine them saying that. So just be really careful if you're going to try to have a sibling taking care of their sibling. So today, the focus of today's presentation is why. Why do you need both a special needs financial planner like Consolidated Planning Group and a special needs focused attorney like Christina Lesher? So we're going to be keeping it kind of as a discussion today. I'm going to be talking, Christina's going to be telling us about her, and all of our contact information is here as well. So you can reach out to either one of us later on with questions and concerns, and talk to me or Christina or Rowena, Ro, if you would like to put your contact info in the chat box too, then everybody could have that. All right, Christina, do you want to present your disclaimer, please?
Oh, sure. So basically what this slide says is that just because I'm talking to you guys today and answering questions, I'm not your lawyer. So that's
it.
That's it. I mean, that's the Cliff Note. Remember Cliff Notes? That's the Cliff Note
Yes,
version of this PowerPoint.
that is the Cliff Note version.
So yes.
Perfect. So yeah, and we always say that we're not attorneys at Consolidated Planning Group at all. So don't ask us legal stuff. We'll send
Yeah.
you to the correct people to deal with that. And that's one reason that you need both of us, because we can't draft documents. We cannot do a special needs trust because you need an attorney to do that. We cannot help you with your will or guardianship or anything like that. So we're going to get in depth into what each of us do, but we provide financial advice thinking about the fact that you have a special needs loved one that is going to need your help and needs to have those considerations factored in. And Christina provides the legal side of the advice. Helping Christina, what are the main things? What's the most important thing that you feel that you do for families with special needs loved ones?
Well, I think we do similar to what you guys do, and is that I'm peace of mind. Families are worried. They're thinking, I've got money I want to leave to my loved one. I don't know how to do it. I've heard that, a special needs trust has a payback provision, and that's not true. If you'll look at some of the other webinars that I've done with Consolidated Planning, you can set up a special or a supplemental needs trust. In Texas, we use those terms interchangeably, so that if your child passes away and you fund it correctly, then you can direct those funds to other individuals. The other thing that we see a lot in our practice is not updating beneficiary designations. What I like to say consolidated planning does, and I think you have a slide on this, or you may have already talked about it, is what consolidated planning does is they help generate the funds. They're going to
Hmm.
tell you, how are you going to retire? How are you still going to be able to do things maybe with your other children, your other family members, and still provide for a child with a disability? And then I create the place where the money goes at death or incapacity. And the other thing that we can think about is uh, if somebody has had a Medicaid denial or a Medicaid reduction in services, that is something that my office does, which with the political climate that we are in now, that is a concern I know for many of my family. So we definitely can do the legal representation there. I don't do financial advice. Clients will come to me and say, I've got all this stock. What's best to put in the trust? And I'm going to say, that's, I don't know. Or they'll say, do I have enough life insurance? That is not a question for me to answer. Or when should the parent pull Social Security? Because if you've seen some other um, webinars on pulling Social Security when your child is already on SSI, there's some financial considerations for that. There is some overlap between what we do, and I think that's a good thing because that means that we speak each other's language. I always say if you meet somebody in the disability community, number one, you grab on, you find out what they know, you tell them what you know. And that's what I've done with the consolidated planning because there's many times I don't have an answer to that question that my client has.
Yes, that is a fantastic way to put it. So, from the financial advising perspective, a little bit, we do provide that financial advice. We do both fee-based and commission-based work. So it depends on what you want us to do for you. If we spend hours and put together a financial plan for you, we do charge for that planning service. You pay for the hours that we spend putting together your plan. Now, many people are shocked to hear that after you pay for us to put together your financial plan, and we have three different planning packages that you could work with. After we put that plan together for you, we want to meet with you at least once a year. We want to be your trusted source for any questions that you have ongoing. So you can call and email us, and we do not charge any extra for your ongoing care and support. Now, Christina's path might be a little bit different. Do you charge, ongoing for questions and answering emails and taking the time to be on the
Yeah,
phone?
every lawyer kind of does it a little bit different. I don't bill hourly. Some lawyers will bill hourly. I bill a flat fee for a period of time. So if the question is during that contract time, which is usually like 6 to 9 months, we don't charge for that. Sometimes I'll make the clients come back in for initial consultation if it's been a while since I've seen them. So I hate to say it, but the lawyerly answer is it depends because of the way that lawyers are compensated. All I have is my time. Uh,
Mhm.
and so sometimes we'll be able just to respond very quickly. So the short answer is if it's a short, quick question, it's something I can do quickly, of course, we'll take care of it. If it's longer, we may make you come back in. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like when you call the doctor. It depends on what you're calling the doctor for.
Exactly, exactly. Now, the other way that we make money at Consolidated Planning Group is commission based. So if we open an ABLE account for your family, for example, that's one thing we do. We don't charge you to do that, but we earn money from the other side for filling out that paperwork, for kind of being their salesperson, if you will. We also earn money by selling life insurance and by doing your investments. And we don't charge you anything to us for doing that for you, really. But of course, if you buy life insurance, you're going to pay for that. So, what we would do for you in those situations is run quotes and explain the different types of life insurance, help you figure out how much you need and why, and do the paperwork for you and that kind of stuff. So we do also help you calculate your future cost of care. That's one very, very important thing to think about, is that, when you're alive as a parent, we kind of see it's part of your budget to take care of your children. And if one of those children has a disability, of course, that's part of it. Um, but once you pass away, if your child can't work and cannot live independently, they're going to still need your help, your financial help. So what happens, after you pass away and your child still has maybe 20 or 30 or 50 years to live, who's going to help them pay for that? That's what we call the future cost of care. And that's how much money we say should go into your special needs trust. And then, you have to have someone like Christina help you set up that special needs trust to put the money into. We make sure that the assets are in the right buckets. You have your beneficiaries set up correctly. You've got your trust, you've got your ABLE account. And so that way it hopefully won't affect SSI and Medicaid eligibility. We look at your current assets and we project forward until you are 90 years old and you are towards the end of your life. And we think about, okay, after you've earned all the money in your career and you've spent all the money in your retirement, what are you going to have left to leave to your estate? And when we say leaving money to your estate, we generally mean leaving money to take care of your child. So we provide you with the best advice on how you are going to get where you want to go and how you are going to be able to leave that funding for your child to be taken care of. We do needs analysis. We manage your assets through third-party asset managers. Many financial advisors do that part on their own, but we don't, because we feel that our clients would be much better served. Because look at me for right now, for example. I am licensed and certified to be sitting in front of 7 computer screens, buying and selling stocks and being in my clients' accounts and making trades. But the market is open right now and I should be paying attention to it, but I'm not. I'm doing this webinar. Or maybe I'm having an initial consultation with clients. Or maybe I'm at a special needs transition fair at a school district. I prefer that part of the business rather than watching the world market and seeing, when should we put stock money into household items versus cruise ships because we heard this rumor about COVID. So we leave that part to our third-party asset managers, and they do a fantastic job with it. We help with transition planning. Again, we set up ABLE accounts. We provide advocacy for you and your family. We share all kinds of references and information. For example, if you come to me and you say, there's one question that we got in the registration actually today that has a lot to do with emotional disturbance at school and a child being yelled at school. Now, I don't really have an answer for that question, and maybe Ro could answer it, or maybe Christina could, but what we can also do is turn you on to a specific educational advocate who does that every single day. You know what I mean? We have networks and resources all over the place. We also, help you find appropriate funding sources. We help you strategize your SSI and Medicaid and other benefits like the state waiver programs. And we help you maximize your Social Security, because when you turn on your Social Security, when you're in your 60s, your child can start drawing benefits off of your record. And many people, we've been trained all this time to think that the longer we wait to turn on our Social Security, the more we're going to get. And that might be true of certain benefits, but when you have a child with a disability, you get additional benefits that many people don't get. And so for you, it might be better to turn on those benefits a little early. And then overall, your family will get, generally, we are able to find tens of thousands, tens of thousands more by following the maximization rather than following either started at 70 or turn it on at 67 as soon as I can. So there are intricacies that you need to know about. I did see a question come into the chat. Do we work in the state of Kansas? We do. We work all across the United States, even though we're based here in Houston. And we kind of have grown our business. We grew up in Texas, but now we can serve the entire United States. Now, legally, Christina, you have to be only within the state, correct?
Correct. And that is because, as many people may know, Medicaid is funded both by the federal government and by the state that the individual is living in. So Medicaid programs, especially waivers, are going to vary greatly from state to state, what they provide, if there's a wait or an interest list. I'm going to put in the chat box. It's kind of a little bit of a misnomer, but special needs planning is the son or daughter of elder law. So we had elder law. That's kind of the origin story of special needs planning for children and adults. So the organization that I belong to is called the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys, or we call it NALA. And you can find in that website an attorney for your particular state or work close to you, and then their credentials and their specialization should be listed there. So yeah, if you're in Kansas, there's some great lawyers there. You're going to be in good hands.
Fantastic. There was another question for you. Do you work with MetLife legal plans? A lot of people, and this is what this person
Yeah,
is asking about, they get a list of attorneys
yeah,
from work.
yeah. So unfortunately, I don't do legal plans. Sometimes what I've had in the past is I'll do an invoice for the client and they'll take it to their insurance company and their insurance company will reimburse them. The problem with my specialization, and I'm a lawyer, so I do things that non-lawyers do, like draft documents or um, uh, uh, appear in front of the Texas Medicaid agency. Um, but a lot of lawyers that are on those plans are not specialists. So if we look at all the lawyers in Houston or in Texas that are here, the ones that do elder law here, the ones that do special needs planning, there's not that many of us. There are some great lawyers here in Houston because we're in a metropolitan area. My firm, we serve all of Texas, but not every lawyer that does special needs trust also does Medicaid, which is a little weird to me. I think you should be able to defend your trust in front of Medicaid or Social Security, also advise clients on how to take distributions out that are not going to impact their public benefits. Because as we have talked about in the past, there's 109 different Medicaid programs in the state of Texas. They all do different things. So you really need to get good legal counsel on how to correctly administer a trust that you're setting up for your loved one, especially if you're going to have a sibling be a trustee. I know that's who is going to be in charge of the monies. Michelle, is definitely a big question. In my
Oh,
family, I've
yeah.
been, raising my two sons to one to do medical and one to do finances for their cousin. But now I'm kind of rethinking it because now that they're older and they're teenagers, I want them to have that family bond and that teasing bond. And I don't want James to feel like he's going to lose that because maybe he has a cousin in charge of his money.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a very long answer to that question, but there you
No,
go.
I'm glad you brought all of that up. It's so helpful. So, do you still help with elder law? Because I mean, I've had people ask about
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I look at families as a table. And so as people are getting older, they have healthcare needs as well as their adult disabled child. So some of the legal planning that we do may be transferring assets from mom and dad or from grandmother to a child with special needs. I use the Texas Medicaid program to offset long-term care costs for parents so that they have more to leave to their kids. And then we just do elder law. Maybe there's the only person in the family with a disability is that individual with dementia or Alzheimer's, and we do that type of planning too. I really describe myself as a cradle to grave disability planner. If you have a loved one that needs care and you want to figure out the right way to protect to protect the assets from Medicaid and to qualify for public benefits, that's what we do.
Perfect, perfect. Do you want to go through this slide or you think we've kind of got it?
Let's see. I think yes, we prepare. Yeah, we do all of that. Yes, everything that you see up there, we do. Um, But I just want to
Perfect.
say that, the legal documents that we do is going to be very detailed and dependent on the client. Um, uh, I don't use the term esquire. I think that's weird, but it reminds me of like a
It's
1980s
awesome. You're the
sitcom or
only people
something.
who get to be
Christina
Esquire.
Lesher, esquire. No. Really what we do is make sure that our clients' legal rights and their legal and the benefits that they are entitled to, that they're able to achieve that. Sometimes a lawyer is very helpful with Medicaid if you're having a denial. We found out that the Texas Medicaid system is slow and grinding, like Social Security. We do a lot of advocacy when we're trying to push applications through. We do a lot of training for Medicaid caseworkers who are maybe not have a lot of training. Um, and so sometimes clients will get denials when they shouldn't get denials, or the Medicaid caseworker is just not following the rules. I'm fortunate that I hired away from the Texas Medicaid system, in my opinion, one of their best paralegals about 12 years ago. And now she's at my office. And so she knows the Medicaid handbook, which is the MEPD, better than most elder law attorneys. So we
That,
make sure that they follow all the rules they're supposed to. So what part of town am I in? I am like the Westview Medical Center part of town, but we do Zoom meetings. I've got clients all over the state of Texas.
yeah. Yeah, we have found that Zoom really helps us out as as consultants because, you know, if you have a child with a disability, you might have to find a babysitter to be able to go have a meeting with
Yeah,
us. Or you
yeah,
might have to
yeah,
load them into the car and travel. That's
yeah,
not fun. Also, if you have a child who is immunocompromised and you come meet with me and I've got a cold and
yeah.
I give it to you and you give it to your child,
Oh my gosh, that is my worst nightmare. I never want to do that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so
That's why we focus on mainly doing everything online.
yeah, I have some clients that still like to come in the office, and we also do hybrid. So if one parent wants to come in the office and the other one is at work, we can definitely make those accommodations. The question was, do you help or give advice on power of attorney versus guardianship once over 18? Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the topics that I have a lot in my office, that clients come in and they're so afraid, there's so much stress around that guardianship decision. And so I have to explain to them, this is going to be an individual decision based on your child, not your neighbor's child, not what somebody said at church, not this, not that. It's going to be what your particular family needs. I'm usually a little less likely to push guardianship until we've had a very full discussion. Number one, the Texas Estate Code wants us to make sure there's no other least restrictive alternative for that child. I want to make sure it's what's best for the child. And you don't have to do it right at age 18. You can wait. Okay.
Mhm.
So just to calm anybody's concerns.
Yeah.
So yeah, we look at the different Medicaid programs. Like I said, there's 109 different Medicaid programs in the state of Texas. I know that because I present a paper to lawyers every February and we count them. Um, and then we also help clients transition from, and I know you guys may do this as well, but also looking for, like, if someone's on MDCP and they come up on the class or the HCS interest list, we can help them with that. And then, of course, we provide what the financial criteria are, including maybe a trust needs to be set up. And we also make sure that with a Medicaid application, that those trusts are sent into Social Security and Medicaid. So you can set them up. Michelle, you guys can fund them, but then if you're on Social Security and or Medicaid, we have to have those approved by either by the Social Security Trust Review Team and by the Texas Medicaid Legal Department.
Mhm. Yep. There's a lot more behind the scenes that has to be done than what, everybody knows about. So we put together kind of the financial advice. We're the money side. Christina puts together all the legal advice and the paper side of everything. And then we come together. I mean, not necessarily like we don't have to meet with Christina to do this for you, but we look at what she's done and we know you've got someone good on your corner in that side. And she looks at what we've done and she knows, oh, okay, I know that they're set on that side. So we work together to make sure that your plan is that you guys are covered, that your family is taken care of. So it's really a great working relationship that we have. Now, everything that you do with Christina or any attorney is going to be separate pay from anything that you do with Consolidated Planning Group. Even though we refer each other back and forth, we do not get any commissions or any referral fees. We don't share any monies. So if you work with us, you pay us, it's just for us. You work with her, you pay her, it's just for her. Okay. Sometimes people come to us and they think that maybe in one of our financial plan packages, it's going to include the special needs trust being written up, and that's not the case.
Right. And attorneys, I know there are some attorneys that sell insurance. I don't have, I've never been comfortable with that. I've never been comfortable taking any kind of commission from a client. There are very strict rules on that. And also, there are ethical rules prohibiting prohibiting lawyers from fee sharing with other non-lawyers and with other lawyers too. I like
Mhm.
clients pay me. I bill on a flat fee basis, which is just a one price for a period of time for certain items and certain deliverables. And then we just get to work on your case. And then if we need to talk, we talk, and then we have meetings and so forth. But yeah, like consolidated planning, we don't fee share between each other.
So here's all of our contact info. Well, it still says Allison. Allison was set to present this at first, and then I stepped in. So I did put my contact information in the chat box so that you can reach out to me. As I mentioned, we can do a consultation with you. Christina can do a consultation with you. And I'm grabbing your phone number right now for one of my personal friends, as a matter of fact, Christina. I'm going to send over to you.
Yeah, and I'm the daughter of school teachers, so I do it very teacher style. So clients, they will have a PowerPoint that they'll have when they leave with all of their strategies we're going to talk about. Um, and it is not uncommon for me to put consolidated planning because they have, in my opinion, one of the best YouTube resources. If I have a minute or two at lunch, I'll sit there and, oh yeah, I could add that to a letter of intent, or oh yeah, I never thought about that. I watched a recent one on tax information and it was just fantastic.
Yeah, that's another thing. I was mentioning some of the different kinds of resources that we can help you with. We don't do taxes, but we do know of several CPAs who work with special needs families and have kiddos and are in it and can help as well.
I think we have
So,
some, I think we have some, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought that was our last slide.
no, I do have a couple
Sorry.
more slides. So these are things that, and we've kind of been through, when we talked about what does the financial advisor do. We kind of talked about these issues and things that you need to know, but a couple of things to keep on your radar as you're going through life and planning for the future, make sure this is, if I could go to every newborn family in the hospital, I would tell them apply for the waiting list for the Texas waiver programs.
Yes.
Now, some states don't have a waiting list or their waiting list is only a couple years. But here in Texas, that waiting list can be 20 years long. So definitely, we tell everybody, get your kid on the waiting list for those waiver programs. That's super important. Special needs trust. One little trick about that is that about 80%, I think that's close, right, Christina? 80% of the families in our special needs community end up in divorce situations. And if you are in a divorce, you're going to have that child support. If it's going to continue beyond age 18, you're going to have that redirected to a first party special needs trust. Now, Christina, do you work with divorce attorneys to get that special needs trust set up and get the divorce
Yeah,
decree?
yeah, I do. And usually what happens is because usually the parents have each lawyer, they have their own set of lawyers. I act as what's called a scrivener. So I draft and explain things and make sure that the child support goes into the right bucket. And maybe it's coming through the AG's office and that Social Security and Medicaid know about it so that it does not impact their SSI.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much for that. Stephen wants to know which one of us helps draft a letter of intent or can provide guidelines. We offer a template. Now, a letter of intent isn't really a legal document. You don't have to have it presented to the court. You don't have to have it on file. I don't think you even have to have it notarized. It's just a love letter or an instructional guide for your loved ones. You know, if somebody has to step into your role as parent, let's say something tragic happens and you're not here tomorrow, and someone needs to step in. You know more about your child than anyone else on the entire planet. So the letter of intent is designed for you to put that knowledge into writing so that when somebody comes along, they can look at things for your child and learn about their abilities and their diagnosis and their wants and desires and your wants and family traditions and values, you know, whatever you want to put into the letter of intent. Um, it's not a legal document.
Right.
This
We do those as part of our special needs trust planning. I have a care manager on staff, so what he'll do is an assessment of your child and help craft a letter of intent, which is like a love letter, she said, to a trustee, especially if it's a corporate fiduciary. Sometimes families don't have an individual to serve that they trust, or they just don't have an individual. So for us, it's very important for us to prepare those letter of intents with the point of view that it may be going to a bank. And so yes, that we do the letter of intents for both situations where there's an individual or a corporate fiduciary.
perfect. Let's get through the slides. There's just I think two more.
Okay,
And then
yeah.
what we'll go back to the questions. So this
Okay.
link is just going to take you to all of our upcoming webinars so that you can pre-register and get reminders. And then this page just explains how you can sign up for your free Zoom consultation. So if you want me to go ahead and schedule it for you, you can call or email me. If you would rather, you can use the QR code or you can call the office. This is usually 30 to 45 minutes just to discuss what questions do you have? How can we help you? What advice can we provide for you? And then we go into, you know, how do we work as a company? What do we charge? And do we think it would be a good idea for us to move forward in a planning, doing some planning for your family? This page also has links to our YouTube channel, Instagram, podcast, and our Facebook page. Okay, so I promise we don't bite. We would love for all of you to schedule your free initial consultation with us. And we are going to be reaching out to you to see if you want to do that. So please don't hang up on these lovely smiling faces. This is our whole team at Consolidated Planning Group, two sets of husband and wives, and just a great group of people who help serve the community. So let's talk about what if you have a child with somebody, but you were never married to them. How can you get them to pay into a special needs trust? How can you get the child support? You don't have to go through divorce, so
No,
what?
that would be for a family law attorney for a suit affecting parent-child relation, also known as a SAPSR. That is definitely something that I don't do because that's definitely in the family law context. So I think Consolidated Planning may have a list of family law attorneys, or you can reach out to me individually for a family law attorney that is familiar with this process. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So the Texas waiver program, is there just one Texas waiver program? Where do I find the wait list? Sunita, there are 8 or 9 different programs that you can apply to. Now, your child is not going to qualify for all of them. For example, MDCP is only for children who are medically fragile. DBMD, deaf, blind, and multiple disabilities, that is only for children who are both deaf and blind and have another disability. So you're not going to qualify for all of the programs, but you can go to yourtexasbenefits.com. I've just put that in the chat box. And you can go to yourtexasbenefits.com, create an account for your child. or your loved one and enroll them in the different waiver programs. Or you can call your local authority. That would be like the Harris Center, Texana, Bluebonnet, Tri-County, MHMR, your LIDA, your local intellectual and developmental disability authority. Does CPG have a legal firm in Kansas that they work with and feel comfortable with like we do with Christina? Um, we, as we grow and we get clients all across the United States, the first thing we do is research, lots and lots of research. We start with one of the websites that Christina mentioned, where the NAPA website. We also look at our colleagues who are also members of the Academy of Special Needs Planners, because that includes financial and lawyers. And we speak with organizations like Hope for Three or the Arc of Texas, or parent networks in Texas and in Kansas, and gather all of the resources that we can for you if we're going to work with you. So no worries, we are definitely going to be able to help you even if you're from Kansas. And as a matter of fact, my husband is from Kansas as well. How is the Texas ABLE account different from other states? Well, you can go, there is a website where you can go compare all the different state ABLE accounts. We use the Virginia ABLE America account for our clients because we know that it is run through American Funds. That's a great company that's been around for a very long time. They have great customer service and they do a really good job for our clients. Now, the Texas ABLE account is available to you, but you don't have to use the account of the state that you live in most of the time. Some states say you can only use this account if you live here, but most states don't mind. So you can get a Virginia account or Ohio or Texas or whatever you want to do. Now for us, we kind of feel like Texas came a little bit late to the game, and their features and their structure is different. And maybe some people prefer that. I think the Texas one comes with a debit card, which many people like, whereas we prefer that all of our clients' money funnels through their bank account so that it can be easily tracked. So we don't want our clients to have a debit card from their ABLE account, but maybe you do. So, it's just how things work differently. You're going to want to check out the features, the fees, customer service, and what investment company is backing that ABLE account. Okay, and make sure you trust that investment company. Good. Thank you so much for putting information about the waiver programs in the chat. Yay. And okay, so I've been having questions about this over the past month. Nearly every consultation I've done, people have asked about this. And Christina, I don't know if you brought your crystal ball with you today. I left mine in my sassy pants. I'm wearing my smart pants today.
I know I did bring my emotional support teddy bear to school. I mean to work today. I think that's more of what I needed.
Yeah,
There's so much anxiety right now, and
it's tough right now, and there's a lot going on, and I really think nobody knows what's going to happen from day to day, and sometimes even from morning to afternoon, things change right now. So my advice on that and about what's going to happen with Medicaid overall, I would just say, be patient, be kind, be optimistic and hopeful, and try not to focus on the worries that you have. Now, the question in the chat box: what about Medicaid money being taken away? So there are two areas where Medicaid can come back and claim reimbursement for funds that they pay out to your child, and that would be from the first party special needs trust or from the ABLE account. So how do you prevent that money from being taken away from your family after your child passes away? Well, use it. Right? Christina, do you have any other?
absolutely. And and I want to say I just came back from the Special Needs Trust conference in Austin, And it just seems like it's a kinder, gentler repayment system. I think they are taking the cases where there's money left in a first party trust or an able account on a case by case basis, that they're making sure that funeral expenses are paid. And if there's extenuating circumstances, they're looking at it on a case by case basis. That being said, I would still recommend using any monies in the first party or the able account first. And the other thing I want everyone to know is that if, let's just say you have a loss of Medicaid eligibility, but you were still receiving Medicaid because it took a while for Social Security or Medicaid to catch up with you. If that happens, Medicaid reimbursement is voluntary. It is, and unlike Social Security where they can reduce your check, Medicaid is voluntary back to that agency.
Perfect. Perfect. So, well, there's if any more questions come up here in the next couple seconds, we'll grab them. But I definitely think some of the people, like Sarah, I think you should schedule a Zoom meeting with Consolidated Planning Group. You've got several questions, and we want to get those answered for you. You can definitely schedule an appointment with me, Christina. She can call your office and see
Yeah.
what's available there.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we have a list of things that people can bring or send us before the appointment so that we will be prepared for them. If you come to my office, we have chocolate and coffee. So
Ooh, what time should I be there?
anytime, Michelle, you're welcome anytime.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Awesome.
Woo.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for, oh, one more question and then we'll wrap it up. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, maybe two. They're both from the same person and related to the same thing. So maybe we can get both of them. Can adult child support by a deceased spouse be put into a third-party special needs trust?
No.
Yeah, doesn't child support end if the person dies? The spouse dies?
The estate sometimes can be obligated. I'm going to amend my answer. I'm going to say it depends on the decree. That's a more complicated answer. So
Yeah. Okay. So they can contact you and get deep
yeah.
into that question with you. All right. Well, everyone, I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope that you all sign up for consultations with both of us. And I just one more little tiny plug, and it's probably goes for Christina as well. We do all these webinars and we try to attract people and grow our audience. If you have been to several of our webinars or even just one and you find it helpful, we would love to hear your kind words and use those on our website testimonials page. So you could either go there, there's a form on the page that you can fill out and tell us if we're helping you or what you like about our webinars, or you can email or call us directly and let us know that we can use your kind words as advertising basically for us. So thank you all for being here with us today. Thank you so much, Ro and Christina, for sharing all of the information. Again, Ro is out there and Hope for Three is a fantastic organization that helps so many people. So they're going to be able to help you out a lot too. You should make sure you add them to your phone call list. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. And
Bye. Thank you.
bye.